Let's try another one with loops. A new class, and let's say we're going to write a program for T-Mobile or Verizon about their packages, their phone package, what's available, and let the program tell us which package we should buy. So let's call this, I don't know, Verizon phone package, I don't know. Phone package is fine. That's what I'm going to call this program. So this is a program for Verizon or T-Mobile again. So here are the packages for them. Let's say Verizon has something where one of the packages is $29 and 99 cents. I'm actually going to stop the video for a second so I can type it because I'm such a slow person when it comes to typing. That will take a long time. So give me a second. Okay, I'm back from my vacation now. So these are the packages, $29.99 a month, but with that you only get 2 GB, and any additional ones is $10. $39.99 package, it's 4 GB, and it's $5 additional for each gigabyte. And the $49.99 is the unlimited. So what I'm going to do to make my life easy, I'm going to call this plan A. So when you go to say which plan you want, you don't want to say the $2.99, that's too much. You can say, I want to have plan A, please. Maybe I'll take plan B here. And I'll call this plan C. So all you have to say, I want plan A, I want plan B, I want plan C. So let's begin the program. First, I'm going to define a string because I want to list these. Every time you run the program, I want these plans will show up. Notice when I run the program, you're not going to see them on the bottom. Let me save it and run it. You're not going to see the plans. So if you're the salesperson, you have no idea what these plans are. So let's do a message here, a string. And I'm going to call it menu. And this is going to equal, here we go, /n, that means move the cursor down one line. Let me copy this and put it there so I don't have to write it. Copy. And let me paste it here. And when you get to the end of it, go /n to go to the next line. Then put a plus. Let me hit enter so I can put them under each other. I'll tap them after. Double quotation. And I'm going to put a plan B after that. Copy that. Put it inside that here. Go to the next line. Then after that, plus, I'll push them aside so they line up nicely. Notice I put the slash at the end of it. I could have put it at the beginning. So if you don't want to put 1 here to make them line up nicely, you can put it right there. Either at the end of the first one or at the beginning of the second one. It says go to the next line. If you're going to do that, you don't need this one here. Plus. And let's do the same thing here. Double quotation. /n. And let's put the third one, which is plan C. And now go. After you finish with that, maybe I'll put a dotted line after that. There we go. Double quotation. Yep, double quotation. Next line. Put a dotted line. So, oh, maybe I'll put underscore. It'll look nicer. Let's see. I wanted to put this line under that. /n, go the next line. So I'm making this as, remember, this is concatenations. As you put a plus, it's a string. You adding all of this, add to it all of this, add to it all of this, add to it this one. So if you want to see that menu, all you have to say now, sys-o menu. That's it. And that will show you what the menu looks like. Let's see what it looks like when you run your program now. There's my menu. Here's plan A, plan B, plan C. And if you want to put a welcome statement on the top there, you can. I'm giving a final exam at the same time, so I just got to stop and answer a question. Give me a minute. Maybe I want to put something on the top here, like before I do this, plus, there we go. Maybe I'll put like a welcome statement. Welcome to, I'll call it Z-Mobile, I don't know. Instead of T-Mobile, Z-Mobile. It doesn't really matter if I put these or not. I don't know why. Because I'm going to the next line after that. So here's my plus sign. I'll put the plus sign there so I can take it out of this. They'll line up nicely. I indented a little bit there at the beginning because I want it to be centered somewhere like this. What happened here? Welcome to Z-Mobile. I forgot to, oh, yep, there's /n here at the beginning of that one to make sure it goes the next line. Welcome to Z-Mobile. And these are the packages. Now you need to ask the user, which one of these packages do you want? So let me define a variable that's going to hold that answer for me. So we just made the menu. And maybe I should say, before I, you know what? I should have added one more here to this one. I just thought of it instead of making another one. Plus, go to the next line. You know what? I'll stick with the new line at the beginning. Please select a plan. Please select a plan. And let me take that one out of here. So this way, and if you want to put maybe, you know what, let's do 2/n here. So we'll drop a little bit below that so you'll see it. Please select a plan. That means give me 2 carriage return with this one. And notice here, please select a plan. Which one you want it? And you type in A, B, or C. I want plan A, but my fat finger hits this one. So we're going to take care of that. So let me, semicolon. I didn't mean to do that. Yep, I will. Yep. So now let's actually define a dummy variable, and I'm using what, scanner here. There we go. Import, I forgot. Java .util .scanner. And I'll come right here. It doesn't really matter where you put it. I always try to put it on the top, but it doesn't matter. I can go scanner. IN for input equals new scanner system.in. I have to tell you, when I teach the class, I never use a scanner. I use dialog boxes all the time. But scanners used a lot in Java, Java 1 and Java 2 if you end up taking Java 2. That's why I'm forcing some of you, including me, to use scanner. But I'm not a fan of it because if I'm not looking, I start typing the values, it goes somewhere else. You know. So now we said enter a plan. Please select a plan. And the person is going to type a plan. I'm assuming the person is going to type in A, B, or C. So let me define here character, because I'm going to be typing A, B, and C. Plan, that's a new guy, I'm defining that, equals, my scanner is called IN, here's my IN, dot, next. When you do next, that's going to take also the enter key when you do that. So I want to tell them which one. I wanted character at location 0. The first thing that you type. So even if you type in plan in, oh, here we go again. That has next. I like to find out where that comes from and just delete it. So notice here when I run the program, I told him to enter A, B, and C. What about if somebody comes and goes, I'm going to enter C, my plan? What I'm asking the machine to do is to grab the first character in that string, which is the letter Z, and put that in a variable called plan. I wanted the variable in location 0, Z in location 0, E in location 1, the next E in location 2. So even if my fat finger hit another key, I go to type in plan A, and I go by mistake AW, is going to take the A. So that's really what the significance of that. I want the first letter. Let's make sure that the choice you put in is a valid choice. So let's validate the plan. How do you validate? You already have the plan in your hand. I typed in Z, the letter Z in it. Well, that's not a valid plan, while the plan is not. Does not equal. I'll use the does not equal A. Oh, I can think of another problem. Because what happens if they put lowercase a? We can change it to uppercase, to lowercase. We could do that. Or we can check and see if it's this one, it's different than this. And, well, I don't need this one to close it yet. Plan does not equal to B, and, where's the and? Has to be and, can't be or, has to be different than all three of them. Because for the and to be false, all of them have to be false. Plan does not equal to C. So if you don't put in A, B, or C, that's an invalid plan. So it's going to leave you inside this loop. It says you entered an invalid value. So what are we going to say? Sys-O you have entered an invalid plan. Maybe I should show them the menu again. I can repeat these two lines. I can say, let's show them the menu again so they'll know. So let's do the menu. Copy that line. Show them this menu again so they know what the plans are. And let's read the value. Now, you're not going to say char because you already defined that. So you want to say plan because the machine knows now plan is a character. You don't have to define it again as a character. You only define it once. If you try to define it twice, they'll mark it wrong. And ask for the plan again. Let's see. Please enter a plan. I type in Z. Z is not a valid plan. It kicks me out. You have entered an invalid plan. It shows me the menu again. Please enter a plan. And I'm going to type in Apple computer. Now that's a valid plan. Why? Because the machine is going to take the first letter, which is the A, and use that. I said, what's in location 0? And notice it didn't actually tell me that syntax error. If I put lowercase a, it will kick me out. So I can change it to either uppercase to upper. And go from there. I think I'm going to change it to an uppercase so I don't have to deal with a lowercase a. So once you get the plan, tell them let the plan equals. Now to change it, you have to write the command for it. It comes from a method called character. So character dot now to uppercase, and it says I want you to take what's in plan. If it was an uppercase, it leaves it alone. But if it's lowercase, now it's going to convert that to an uppercase. So I never have to worry about lowercase a or lowercase b. You type in lowercase, going to take it. Copy, and also paste it here too. That'll be a nice fix for that problem. Okay, what's your plan? Notice if I type in lowercase a, that's a good plan. But let me put a wrong plan first. R. Lowercase r, so that's not good. It has to be A, B, or C. Apple computer. Now it's going to take the A, which is lowercase a, then make it an uppercase, which is a valid plan. So it's not going to tell me that's invalid. And notice it doesn't say that's invalid. It took it. Otherwise, you end up with this message again. So we got the plan now. And now we're going to calculate here gigabytes. Should we ask for the number of gigabytes? Okay, let's do the gigabyte. So this is the menu. We make the menu looks good. We know we validated the plan is good. So let's validate the gigabytes. It has to be a number bigger than 0. So let's do, we'll use a do statement, do while. Sys-O, gotta move faster. This program is getting too long, time-wise. So what are we gonna do? How many gigabytes? Question mark. And when you see that, you want to type in the value. So let's do that. We'll do integer, gigabytes and integer, 2 gigabyte, 3 gigabyte. I'm defining something called gigabyte. Did I use gigabyte anywhere so far? No. This is inside that string here. That's okay, but no, it's not a variable. Equals in, that's my scanner. And I gotta make sure next int, not has next int, and semicolon. And let's say my gigabyte can't be, so repeat this statement while what? What's the minimum number of gigabyte? Is 0. So if your gigabyte is less than 0, that doesn't make any sense. I hate when it does that. And let's do another one, or maybe bigger than 50. I don't know, or 100 gigabyte. I don't know if anyone can use more than 100 gigabyte. Maybe some of you guys, the young ones, can do that. Oh, greater than. I'm missing the greater than here. So while gigabyte, it doesn't like it because I don't have an initial value for it. So you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to define it up there before I enter this loop here. And I go int gigabyte and give it the value of 0. Because what they're saying, what happens if you don't go through the loop? Then you don't have a value here to compare it. Well, that's not true. I'm going to have a value to compare, but the machine doesn't understand that. So set it to 0. So it comes down, it goes through the loop. The first time will go through the loop, and it asks for the new gigabyte. So that becomes really a waste of time, but you have to put it there. So this will validate the gigabyte, this section. I'll just put here, validate gigabyte. So that's what we're doing there. So once the plan is good, once the gigabyte is good, we need to calculate now what the cost is. So this section, calculate the cost. And maybe I'll use a switch statement just to bring in some of the old stuff. And I'm going to use the plan here as the deciding one. And with the switch statement, says switch, it begins with a curly bracket and ends with a curly bracket. It has a switch, it has a case, the 3 things in it. And if the plan is A, that single quotation, that's a character. So what do you want to do if the plan is A? Here's what I want to do. Check to see if what? If my gigabyte is less than or equal to 2. And I didn't define actually what the cost is. So let me define the cost here, double cost, and set it equal to 0 to start with. Make them happy. If the gigabyte is less than 2, the cost is going to be what? $29.99. Else, you have a plan A, but you went over the 2 gigabyte, your cost is going to be the $29.99 plus $10 for every gigabyte over 2. So gigabyte minus 2. For every gigabyte larger than 2. I'll just put a space, it looks nicer. Then when you're done with that, get out of this loop, break. I'm going to hit enter to push it up there. There we go. That's if it's option A. Now we go right here. We do case, B. What about if it's plan B? And I can copy and paste here. Copy. Command V. So if it's plan B, what do you want to do? The gigabyte you're getting for plan B is how much? 4 gigabyte. So if it's less than or equal to 4, your cost is $39.99. But if it's over 4, then you're going to pay $5 for each additional one over 4. Anything over 4. And get out of the loop again. And case C, your cost is equal to, what was it, $49.99, I think we said, unlimited. And that's the end of my statement. Now, there is no default in this case. The reason there is no default, because I validated my values. I can't have a plan that's not either A, B, or C. These are the 3 options, because you will never leave this section of the program. You're stuck here till you type in either A, B, or C. You can't exit that section. So when you leave it, when you go down below that, your plan is either going to be A, B, or C. So the default doesn't make any sense. And you don't need a break, because what the break means is get out of here when you're done with, let's say you were here. When you're done with this one, it says get out of this and go right here. Well, this is the last statement here. When you're done with it, automatically goes right here. So there's no reason to write a break there. You can if you want to. It is absolutely useless. So that will calculate the cost. And now let's print the cost. Display. So sys-o. Maybe I'll do print with format, print F, again with practice the format. There we go. You have chosen. You have selected plan. And now I'm going to put the plan, which is a single character. So that's %, 1 S, S for string, 1 digit long. It's a character. You have selected plan 1, plan A, plan B, plan C. And your cost for, let's put the number of gigabyte. So let me put the gigabyte, that's a decimal value, %. The maximum we say is going to be what, 100 gigabyte? Let's use 3. Let me use 1 actually, 1D, because if it's more than 1 digit, remember the machine automatically adjusts. We'll say you don't know what you're talking about, I'll make it 2. Your cost for 1 or 5 or 7 gigabyte will be, and that's a decimal value. I'll put a $sign, %. I'm gonna make the number small, 3.2F, 2 decimal places, money. So that's not big enough, because 2 decimal places plus the point, that's 3 numbers, but the machine will adjust automatically. Now, after I'm going to put a comma, and I hit enter, and I need to tell them what are the 3 things I want to print. I want to print the plan, comma. I want to print the gigabyte, comma, and I want you to print the cost. These are the three things. And the first one, oh, I already have the parentheses in that. The first one, they have to match. Meaning what? The first one is going to go in the first one. So if that's a string, this has to be a string. This is an integer value. That's an integer value. This is a decimal value. That's a decimal value. So let's see what the output looks like. Select a plan. Let's say I want a plan A. And how many gigabyte? End up using 7 gigabyte this week. I'm in trouble because that's $70 going to be. Actually, nope. It's going to be 50 plus 29, $79.99. There we go. You have selected plan A and your cost for 7 gigabyte will be $79.99. Run it again. I have selected plan C. I'm using 7 gigabyte. Obviously, plan C will be a better choice. It's $49.99 versus $79.99. Same gigabyte. Run it again. You selected plan B. 7 gigabyte. The cost is $54.99. So still plan C really is the best one. My plan was actually to have the program go through them and decide which one's the best plan, but it gets longer. So I'll do it if you don't mind. And if you get tired of me, you can stop it and come back and watch it later. So this one actually displays. So this section is going to determine, we're going to call recommended plan. I'm going to have the program recommend based on the, I'm going to give them a plan first, and they're going to tell me, maybe, you know what, maybe you shouldn't use that plan. Pick something else. And let me do this one here. I already printed the values here. But let me define 3 variables here. One for each plan. So I'm going to call them double. Cost 1, that's for plan 1. Comma, cost 2 for plan 2, and the cost for plan 3. Let me define them as double. And again, hopefully it doesn't tell me give them a value, but if it does, I'll give them a value of 0. So let me take this one here, copy that, and make it cost for plan 1. So let's calculate what plan 1 will cost you for that one. If gigabyte is less than 2. Let's see what cost number 2 will be. Well, I don't have to calculate cost 3 is fixed, I guess. Copy. We'll call that the cost for 2. And cost number 3 automatically will be $49.99. You don't have to check for anything. So we have the 3 costs. So what you want to do now is compare your cost to each one of these plans. So you can tell the machine, let's look and see. If what? If cost 1 is less than cost number 2, and I don't need the greater than here, and cost 1 is less than cost number 3, that tells you cost 1 is the best plan. So if that's the case, sys-o, I'm going to hit enter to push it up. Oh, there's a T missing here. So sys-o we recommend plan A because that's the cheapest one. We recommend plan A for you. Ay, 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 ay. I'll put a new line. And I'll repeat this 2 more times, and that will tell me what the best plan is. Because what I did actually, whatever plan you give me, whatever the number of gigabyte you give me, I don't care about the plan. Whatever number of gigabyte, I'm going through them in this section and trying to figure out if you have plan 1, how much would it cost you, if you have plan 2, and if you have plan 3, regardless what plan you chose. So now here, I copy this one and make minor changes to that. So if this is not the case, go else. So it's not really plan 1 it's not a good one. So let's not waste time here. Let's compare plan 2. Check to see if 2 here is bigger than 1, less than 1, and 2 is less than 3. If it is, we recommend plan B. Else, that's for the new if statement. Notice how it indents there. We recommend plan C. And that's it. Just this part. We recommend plan C. So let me save this one, run it, type any plan you want. Let's say you chose plan B, but this time you use, I don't know, 6 gigabyte. Well, it didn't really make a difference here, plan C or plan B, because they're the same value. Maybe what I should have said less than or equal to, because it's the same number end up being. So let's put a different one, plan B, but instead of 6 gigabyte, use 7 gigabyte next month. Now that's 54. We recommend plan C. Run it. You picked plan C, but you only use 3 gigabyte. Plan C will run you $49.99. We recommend plan A for you. Maybe I should show actually what the cost. Instead of that, maybe I should show you how much would it cost you. Instead of system out, it says with plan, we recommend plan B for you. Your cost with, maybe I'll go on the next line here. Your cost with plan B will be, because this is plan 1 is the best one. With plan A, this is B, right? Will be cost 2. Will be your cost with plan B will be, or would be, and let's put cost 2, capital C. So you know exactly how much would it cost you. And for this one again, go to the next line, and it says your cost with plan A would be $, and let's put the cost here plus cost number 1, because we're recommending up double quotation here, up. There we go. And again, the same thing here. Plan C cost is, and we'll put here, well, no space, plus, and that's cost 3, or $49.99. So now we're telling you actually what the cost will be for each plan if you chose this one. Now let's just run it one more time, and I think that will do it actually. So you picked plan A, lowercase a, and you use 5 gigabytes. You have selected plan A, and your cost for 5 gigabyte will be $59.99. We recommend plan B for your cost with plan B would be $44.99. So it takes you through and lets you know which plan is actually a better choice. I'll stop with this one.